Hi.
Hey, hello.
I was just telling people that we're talking about how anyone can homeschool.
Yep.
um, so I primarily work with an audience that is working with children who have fetal alpha spectrum disorder, which is the most common form of developmental disabilities, affecting 5% of the population, which is like 2.5 times as common as autism. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of families who are doing like special education, homeschooling, that kind of realm. But something that my friend Debbie from FASD Strong brought up towards the beginning is, what do you do if you're a single parent? This is the situation that we have. Like, we got to make money, but
Yes.
also we're in a homeschool. So I don't know. I don't have the answer to that because that's not my situation. But you wrote a book about it, literally. So I wanted to hear kind of what advice you would give to families who are considering homeschooling but have some sort of barriers and some creative solutions to that.
Okay, I can definitely answer that because I've been down that road of single mom homeschooling, also homeschooling as a full-time employee or part-time. Um, the first thing I want to say is that there isn't a right way to homeschool.
Mm,
And so that hopefully will kind of take the pressure off of parents to do it right or who think that they
yeah.
might do it wrong. You can't really do it wrong unless you're just not doing it at all. And
Yeah.
so it's an extension of parenting. And I think a lot of people don't realize that because they just envision what we all know as school, which is at a
Hmm.
school building in a classroom, and you have all these certified teachers who they must be way smarter than us.
Yeah.
But that's only one way to educate kids. And so the first thing I talk about in my book is what education really is and how that's the public school method is not the only way. And so education is just providing your children with the materials to learn. And it doesn't have to be at a certain place or in a certain room or with certain books, at 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. None of that.
Hopefully
That's
not.
only done. Yeah, I don't do that. That's only done because they have to manage so many kids at a time at a school. So understanding what education is and how it can happen anywhere at any time is really key to then understanding how a single mom can homeschool or someone with a job, someone with I have friends who are single moms who work part-time and they have a child with special needs and they homeschool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I read a comment by a lady on a forum who said, I'm blind. My son has autism. I work full time. Help me find a math curriculum. And I was thinking, okay, this lady is one of those who
Yeah.
shows you anyone can homeschool. And
Yeah.
she wasn't saying, I can't do this. She was saying, which math curriculum would be best for us,
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
anybody can do this. What you have to do is figure out what your needs are and what your child's needs are and look at your budget, especially if you're a single parent, that's probably going to be a big issue. And then look at your schedule. And so if you're a single parent, you may be working full time or part time, even if it's from home, you kind of have to work around that job. And so figure out when schooling can happen, and then that's when you do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's only 3 days a week, or if it's every night instead of every morning, or if you have school on Saturday instead of Monday,
Yeah.
or maybe you have it 2 days a week at home and 2 days a week at grandma's house, or, you know, there is no magic formula. That's what I want to say. There's no right way, there's no one way. It's just like you would, if you got to feed your kids, obviously they've got to eat every day, and you figure out a way to make that happen. It's the same way. It's obviously a little bit more complicated than meals, but you figure out how to feed them, you figure out how to clothe them. Now you're going to figure out how to teach them. And thankfully, we live in the golden age of homeschooling. So the curriculum options are, they're just amazing. So many different options on so many different budget levels, so many different styles of curriculum, whether you want to be a hands-on teacher or you just need something online that you can oversee or
Hmm.
something in between. There's
Yeah.
something for everyone. So being a single working parent is not a handicap for homeschooling. It is a little bit more of a challenge, trust me, because I did that and I cried sometimes. It's a little bit harder.
I have two.
But yeah, I still do it, and I'm not a single mom anymore. So, Yeah, algebra gets me. But there are so many different ways to do it that it doesn't matter what your living circumstances are. And that's what my whole book is about. And as you're talking about, so many parents have a child with special needs. And that seems so daunting because you think, well, you've got to have a special degree or something to teach this child. In some extreme cases, that may be the case, but generally it's not. It's just learning more and more about education and more about your own child, and then being willing to put that effort and that time into figuring out what's needed. So the same thing goes for your living situation, your financial situation, all of that.
Yeah, I think yes, there's a lot more opportunities than than you used to have. Obviously, you can do school like totally online. You can do it self-paced online. You can do it like more regimented online. And these are like technically, depending on what state you're in, these are technically like homeschool programs. Obviously, virtual schooling has changed. Like now, people are like, "Oh, we're homeschooling," but they're virtual schooling, and that's like kind of a mushy situation.
It
But
is.
typically we're working on our own curriculum that we have chosen, usually independently, and you can find math online guided curriculum that is
Right.
taught by somebody else, and do language arts yourself because that's your jam,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
When I was talking to Natalie the other day from FASD Hope, we were talking about how you can outsource work, and it feels like you shouldn't, because like I think there's this idea that moms do this and moms need to like provide all of the direct instruction, and that's not necessarily what it looks like. For example, my kids really enjoy cooking. Although I can't say that I enjoy cooking, I know how to do it, but I cannot do it with them. It's
Yeah.
not, I don't, that's not my gifting.
Yeah.
So that happens with dad.
Yes.
And sometimes dad comes in for some science stuff also.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what's happening. And so we have to take a step back and see like kind of where our strengths are, I would say. Also, when we're talking about parenting kids with disabilities, what you were saying about like you have to have a special degree or something, I find so often that our kids in public school with disabilities are having so many challenges, mostly because they are in a public school setting. That's like adding to the stress, right? So removing that placement means that we can have kind of more fruitful learning experiences.
Yes, I think so. I think that's what I've gathered from, I don't have a child with special needs, but I have interviewed several. And one of the main messages from those moms is, doesn't even matter what the special need is or, their home circumstances. The whole thing that makes it better for them is that the child is taken out of that stressful situation and they live at home. So they can sleep late or get up early or crash at 10 o'clock in the morning or eat more food or less food or whatever, all those little bitty things that matter to them so much. It's just okay at home, where at school it can be disruptive or it doesn't fit with their group or whatever. So just life is so much easier. And that doesn't even take into the account the homeschooling part, just their life in general.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They don't have the added pressure and to perform or to provide, or like if our kids can't regulate what you were saying about food, like sometimes they can't just say, I'm hungry. Okay, so we have a single mom who has a kid with disabilities such as FASD, which is the most statistically common one. And they're thinking like homeschooling may be the best option for us. So I'm thinking like a work from home position would be kind of ideal so that you can be home with the kid, but not necessarily having your attention there. And some of that seems like it's the guilt factor. Like we feel like, so I do this. I teach my kids Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 11 or 9 to a little bit later on Wednesday, and kind of depending just on how the mood strikes us. But we also we just school like in life, and I think that's something we didn't do a lot before we started this perspective. So you pick, you have your work from home position, and either you have regimented hours or you have flexible hours, but you kind of mishmash everything in there. So you have the money coming in, but you also are capable of spending the time that you need to learn. I like what you said about Saturday too, because some of our kids, like they're on first thing in the morning, and if you have to work 9 to 5 every day, then maybe Saturday is like a good day to just break it open. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in almost every situation when I have a conversation like this, I just want people to think outside the box.
Hmm.
Don't worry about weekdays or school hour schedules or school years. You know, we
Yeah.
school year
Yeah.
round and we
Right.
take a break when we feel like it.
Yeah.
Um, and a single mom definitely has to think outside the box, you know, because she may work nights or she may, like you said, may work from home or work outside the home. You know, work schedules are all over the place. I have
Yeah.
friends that do it in so many different ways. I couldn't even list it,
Yeah.
but they just have school when they're available, you know, and it also depends on the age of the child.
Yeah.
Some, you know, if you've got an older kid who's independent, they can mostly get their stuff done on their own and you just check over it. If you have younger kids, obviously you might need that help. You may need some outside help. When I was a single mom, I did have to work part-time, and so I actually hired a babysitter. My girls were 2 and 6 at the time when I hired her, and she came in and not only babysat, but she saw that I was a homeschooler, and she decided to jump in and help with stuff. And so I didn't say,
Yeah.
hey, I need you to homeschool, but she loved it. So she did fun little projects with them and read stories, and they were really young, so it wasn't, you know, an emergency to have
Right.
all the school. But you can find people like that. I mean, I've seen so many situations that are similar, or hiring someone's teenager who is a homeschooler to come and help you.
Hmm.
They understand this lifestyle. They can jump right in and either help you with cooking and housework or children or homework, you know, or trade off with another mom, ask for help. That's probably the number one thing. Ask for help. Just tell
Yeah.
people, look, this is what's working for us. I could use a little help. Anybody out there want to do something to help me? Whether it's a carpooling thing or coming to help you for a couple hours with the kids' schoolwork or something. Just be honest and say, here's what we're trying to do, and it's not easy. And there are people that will jump at the chance to help.
And there are also drop-off co-ops. We're
Yeah,
using one of those, and so they're gone all day on Friday.
yeah.
um,
Many of them will let you drop off, and so that's really handy. Whether you've got to work or you got to get your groceries, you know, or whatever.
just need quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's helpful because they're doing their extracurriculars there, and so somebody's able to pour in and do all this like super creative stuff with them, and I'm like, and we're doing math. So for us,
Yes.
we couldn't do math in a more structured setting just because of our
Uh-huh.
learning needs, but it definitely provides its value, and I know a lot of parents use it basically as a private school, like the kids are there Monday through
Yes.
Friday. And I think those types of programs are also more flexible with grade level too. So
Mhm. They
grade
are.
is a flexible thing in homeschooling, and so you could have a kid that's much older in a much younger
Yes.
class, if that is what works academically. And so I found that to be super helpful and a possibility. It's not everywhere, but some places have it. So
Yeah. You
okay,
just have to ask
so
a lot of questions.
yes, and Facebook groups, asking your local Facebook group because
Definitely. Hmm.
people know things.
Yes.
Where can people connect with you? And your book is available on Amazon, correct? I did not
It,
like buy it
it,
because I just reached out to you a couple days ago.
yeah, no problem. Yes. This is my book, Anyone Can Homeschool.
Nice.
And it deals with single parents and also parents with special needs kids and a whole lot of other situations that don't seem normal. And it's also available on my website, which is nickitruesdell.com. So on Facebook, Instagram, my webpage, all of that, it's just my name. And then the book is also available on Amazon. And this is my passion, just helping people.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it will be super helpful for families who are on the fence and are considering things. So thank you so much. I'm going to get this posted everywhere so people can ask about it. Oh, this is me. Am I
I
being
lost
slow?
your sound.
Oh yeah, I know. I didn't know if it was me or you. Um,
Oh, okay. I hear you.
so yeah, I'll get this posted everywhere, and so that people can share it and have good discussions about it, and hopefully they'll connect with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I hope it was helpful.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.